This is our reflection for the 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year B. The theme of our reflection is Sacrifice is necessary for redemption. The Son of Man came to give his life as a ransom for many. The Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt took less than 10 seconds to cover the 100 meters distance on the Olympic track and win the gold medal in London. Those few seconds made him the fastest man alive and placed him on the winner's podium once again. But the race was not won in those seconds. It was won by hours and hours of practice, workouts, weightlifting, special diet, and coaching. The race was not won in the performance, but in the preparation. It is our desire for something more significant that causes us to sacrifice some things, even some good things, for the sake of better things. Today's readings are about the value of sacrifice, which makes suffering redemptive. In our first reading from the prophet Isaiah, we hear of the suffering servant of God who gave his life to bring forgiveness and justification to others. Our second reading, taken from the letter to the Hebrews, describes Jesus as the suffering servant whose sacrifice on the cross granted us access to the Father. Jesus concludes the gospel reading by stating, "The Son of Man came to give his life as a ransom for many." He teaches a significant truth about suffering. Suffering has a redemptive dimension that can bring salvation and transform our situation. We are invited to sacrifice daily to transform our world. It is one thing to see everything that is wrong with the world. It is another thing to sacrifice to bring about transformation. We may think that the significant involvement in the world's redemption is something of the past, and we are here only to receive and enjoy its results. That is precisely what James and John wanted. By addressing his disciples, Jesus tells us that bringing his redemption into people's life is part of our mission and discipleship. We are not supposed to simply consume Christ's work of redemption or be spectators of Christ's work of redemption like people in the stands at a football game cheering his spiritual touchdown. In a world engrossed in selfishness, we must remember that Christ calls us to walk with him to transform our world. What makes sacrifice difficult? Apart from living in a selfish world, sacrifice is difficult when we cannot see the immediate reward flowing from it. Sadly, we often think that our efforts will not make any difference, but it does. Like he did to James and John, Jesus guarantees us that sacrifice is necessary. But he does not assure us of the reward. We are invited to sacrifice for its own sake, even when the reward seems non-existent. The reward will come to us. In other words, sacrifice has value if we undertake it unselfishly. Jordan Peterson stresses this value when he states, "Thus, the person who wishes to alleviate suffering, who wishes to rectify the flaws in being, who wants to bring about the best of all possible futures, who wants to create heaven on earth, will make the greatest of sacrifices, of self and child, of everything that is loved, to live a life aimed at the good. He will forego expediency, he will pursue the path of ultimate meaning, and he will in that manner bring salvation to the ever-desperate world." This quote is taken from the 12 rules of life, from chaos to order. Transformation is impossible without sacrifice, and it does not have to be something big. Today, we are reminded that the standard of greatness consists of asking, what sacrifice can I make for others? We are to be partners with Christ in spreading the work of his redemption, which entails sacrifice. "Of the cup I drink, you shall drink," says Jesus. This week, I invite you to partake of the following challenges. First, think about someone who sacrificed for you in the past. Pray a decade of the rosary for that person. Secondly, spend time journaling on areas where God invites you to make sacrifices. Commit to the sacrifice. Write out the benefit this sacrifice will bring to you and to others. Have a blessed week.